Yo. What's going on, man? Today is June 28th, 2024. I am specifically coming off a really, really rough night, man. I know I talked about, I think it was 5 plays that we had on the short list yesterday when I did the show. And 4 to 5 plays did cash. I ended up getting there with the one that didn't cash. It's a rough night, super rough night. Just real quick, I do want to go through that. It's difficult to sleep when I lose, when I go 0-3. Just getting straight into a quick recap of what we talked about yesterday. So on the show, I talked about not touching Minnesota just because they were coming off the Commissioner's Cup game, and I got I got a little ahead of myself. I took them third quarter after they gave up the lead in the first quarter, and they ended up losing the game outright to the Dallas Wings. So third quarter was a loser. Just thinking that they would bounce back and take control of the game in the third quarter. They didn't. Aces team total over 22.5 in the first quarter was another loser. On the show, I talked about Aces first half. They cashed. And then Aces finished with 21 points at the end of the first quarter. They had 2 minutes to score. Never scored another bucket. Asia Wilson missed a 3-pointer on the right wing. So that was a loser. And then Indiana-Seattle, I talked about liking Seattle first quarter team total over, about liking Seattle first half, about liking Seattle first quarter on the spread minus the 2.5. So if you got any of those looks, you cashed yesterday. I just happened to take the Aces, and then I took the over in the Seattle game. Late play, they end up getting to 166 points. So that loses by 2 points. They really lock up Indiana defensively last night, and then they went through a couple spells where they couldn't score the basketball either. So overall, probably the worst night in the W that I've had so far. 0-3 straight up. I lose 2.5 units because it was a unit, then half a unit. So, unit, 0.75. So yeah, minus 2.5 units yesterday. Got to find a way to get that back. I made one play on the board that I already made in one of the 2 games that we have, and then it's another play that I'm eyeing but have not gotten there have not quite gotten there yet. So we'll jump into it real quick. Let me get through the comments, and then we'll keep it pushing. Art says dream first half. Elm says dream awful first half team. What up to my guy Justin? CS in here as well. Great day yesterday. Helm said, if I just played what I had on the screen, I would have had a great day as well. What up, Aaron? Kevin says the Storm and the Mystics plays cash last night. They did. They definitely did. Hit a few, but was sick at 166 total in the Fever game. Needed 168. Me too, CS. And I said on the show yesterday, I said, I don't really like the over as much, because what if Seattle comes out and locks up Indiana? Indiana hadn't been playing against anybody good, and that's essentially what they did. Leah Boston struggled all night. Nalissa Smith struggled all night. Caitlin Clark was being hounded, even though she hit a couple step back difficult 3-pointers. Still went under her points prop. And it was the defensive intensity that I kind of expected from Seattle, which is why I didn't like the over as much. Still played it, though. Feel like an idiot now. We'll talk about this game dream. What up to my guy AOD? Elms like the Suns minus the 8.5 and the under. G Martinez says he laid with the Mercury. CS says he likes the Sun minus the 8.5 too. I know they aren't well rested, but the dream have looked awful. We'll talk about that in a second. Justin says he got in on the Sun game last night at 153.5 when it opened. Okay. Let's see. Eric says keep going. Let's cash. Michael says so when we gonna just accept the fact Angel Reese isn't gonna be denied? Yeah, she's looked really, really good, Michael. I didn't see that coming yesterday. I will tell you that. And they had Clark on her last night, and I mean she was giving up like 6 inches. Probably 7 inches of height. I'm like, what is Becky Hammond doing out there? Because we talked about her going on her points prop yesterday. I really, really liked that prop a lot. She did. She still ended up eating last night. G. Harris says he likes the Sun minus 7.5 on FanDuel. Helms, yes, Reese is definitely a dog. What's up, Sarah? Good morning to you. Bitchy says good morning, Chris. Justin in the chat. Jalen says, good morning, everyone. New to the channel, Woodbridge, Virginia. What up, Jalen? Woodbridge, you're not too far away from me, man. I'm in Charlottesville, Central Virginia. We'll call it Charlottesville. Let's see. What else we send in the chat before we get started? Jamie says, I know we're talking about today's games, but I would encourage everyone to take Storm first quarter -2.5 and team total over 22.5 against the Wings. And I'm with you, Jane. I see lines up not just for today's game, tomorrow game. The lines are already up for Sunday's game if you got DraftKings. So I got a lot more work to do when I get done with this show today, so I can get ahead of some of these lines. I also think that's a big, I think that was a part of it. Like, you had that little layover in between the days, and I kind of just took my foot off the gas. I typically get to the lines early. I know I typically send out plays before the show even start. Yesterday, I got the end of all the lines. I got the worst of every single number yesterday because I didn't handicap the games early, and that was on me. I do feel better when I handicap the games early, which is hence why I do an early morning show. All right, let's see. What up to my guy Freeman's Mitchell in here as well. He says weird Sun game. We'll talk about it. All praise picks in here. Matt says he got Angel Reese running Rookie of the Year, and Aaron says, do you think the Mystics continue to trend up? As long as they can knock down some shots, man, they've been really shooting the ball well. All right, let's jump into the two games that we have on the board for today. First one we got the Atlanta Dream and the Connecticut Sun. Game will be played in Connecticut at the Mohegan Center tonight. And what do I want to tell you guys about this one? So line hasn't really moved a lot. Well, actually, it opened at 9 on the first books that put the line out. And of course, it's come down. It's down to 8.5. I think there are, let me just double check it. Yeah, it's at 8.5 everywhere. Total in this one did move. I see Justin talked about getting that 153.5. It is down to 151 on most books. That's a super low total. Super, super low total. I talked about yesterday liking the Washington Mystics plus the 10.5. I didn't play that. I talked about liking the Washington Mystics in the Connecticut Sun to go over because the total was so low. And of course, they went over before it even went to overtime. 153 was the number. And they did go up and over that number in regulation. So both of those were winners as well. I forgot about those. So looking at this game, Atlanta will be without Ryan Howard. She's the only person on the injury report for them. And then Connecticut Sun will be without Mariah Jefferson. Looks like she's going to be reevaluated after having procedure done on her ankle. She's going to be out at least, it said the next couple of weeks, but I would imagine in the next month or so. All right, so you get a dream team. I want to look at these point totals real quick. So you get a dream team that is extremely well rested, 4 days rest. They have lost 3 straight games. A couple of those losses came to some really good teams, and they also got one in here to the Fever as well, where they got smoked in that game also. 4 days of rest for the Dream, 3 straight losses, 3 straight non-covers. They got smoked by the Liberty at home. They got smoked by the Minnesota Lynx in Minnesota. That was the game that Ryan Howard went out. She hasn't returned since. And then you also got the loss against the Indiana Fever, where they got smoked at where the Atlanta Hawks play. So on the opposite side, you got a Connecticut Sun team. I think it's a terrible spot for them. Second leg of a back-to-back, of course. Short travel from DC to Connecticut. First home game after a 3-game road trip. And it's a one-off home game for them as well. They actually go back on the road. They actually got to play against the Mercury on Monday. So it's a very, very short turnaround for the Connecticut Sun. On the season, I mean, it's really difficult to sell you on the Dream. They're 6-9 straight up, 5-10 against the number. I will say this. They have been a little bit better on the road than they've been at home. You can see that they're 3-3 straight up, 3-3 against the number, which means that they're 3-6 on the road and 2-8 against the spread at home. 2-8 against the spread at home and 3-6 against straight up at home. So the Dream have been better on the road for whatever reason. Connecticut, 14-3 straight up, 7-10 against the number. They continue to not cover. Didn't cover. Should have probably lost that game against the Washington Mystics last night. I'm watching this team play, and there's nothing in that really intrigues me about the Connecticut Sun. If they're not a team that's getting a bunch of turnovers and scoring off those turnovers, their offense has looked so putrid. You can see last 5 games, they're actually the 10th rated offense. Now, granted, Atlanta's been nothing to write home about. They're the worst offensive rated team, 10th in defensive rating, 10th in net rating over the last 5 games. But the Connecticut Sun, I mean, if they're not playing defense, their offenses look so bad. They just can't score on a consistent basis. So when I dove into the game a little bit more, and just kind of looked at the X's and O's. Atlanta, they've been, like I said, awfully awful recently. They rank dead last in offensive rating, 10th in net rating. Last 5 games, they are last in points per game in the last 5 games. But their average point differential has been about 7.5 or 8. And like I said, they have played against the Commissioner's Cup winner and the New York Liberty. Atlanta also, what I do like about Atlanta here is that Connecticut scores the most points in the WNBA off turnovers. And Atlanta, while they have been struggling, they actually are number 2 on the season in ball security. So if they don't turn the ball over a lot, you look at Connecticut, their offense, like I said, has been really, really struggling. 10th rated offense over the last 5 games. The one thing that's somewhat been that's good for Atlanta here is that they have been at least playing defense. It's really just their offense that's been struggling. Defensively, they're number 6 over the last 5 games. On the full season, I should say. Connecticut's also 12th in assist percentage. They're not scoring the basketball. The offense, like I said, has been terrible to watch. They've taken a big dip in rebounding. They've actually been the worst rebounding team over the last 5 games. And Connecticut also like to score a lot of their points in the paint, where they take the second most shots and they make the third most shots. However, Atlanta is actually number 2 in opponent restricted area field goal percentage over the last 5 games. Connecticut is also only a +1 in point differential over their last 5 games. So I know it's a super ugly play, but I did take the points here with the Dream. I think Connecticut will want to win this game. I don't think that they necessarily have to win this game by margin. I do see them running out of gas. You got 4 days of rest compared to none. You also got an Atlanta Dream team that just looked really, really bad. And I kind of said, we said this yesterday about the Dallas Wings. Granted, the situation was a little different because Dallas was at home, but this kind of gives me the same kind of feel. I'm not saying the Dream gonna come in here and win the game. I don't think that they are, but I do think the Dream can keep the game within 9 points. I'm not laying 9 with the Connecticut Sun. You can see on the screen right here, they're only 4-5 straight up. I'm sorry, 4-5 against the number. Could they come home and blow the doors off the Dream? But after an overtime game and having to travel, I did take the 8.5 points here with the Dream. I don't know if it's gonna move in my direction or not, but I'm on the 8.5 with the Dream. Ugly play, but I'll take the Dream here. Other thing I want to mention real quick before I go through the comments is the total. So open 153.5. It's down to 151.5. We see a team total for the Atlanta Dream of 71.5, and Connecticut 80.5. Man, I kind of want to take the Connecticut Sun team total under 80.5. I know Atlanta can really struggle to score the basketball. I talked about their offensive rating being so poor, but I think Connecticut can continue to struggle to score the basketball as well. 80.5 seems like a really big number. Connecticut, in my opinion, will probably rely a little bit more on their defense than their offense. I could see them struggling to score the basketball. I don't know if they're going to get to 81 points today. So if I'm looking at, the total, I do agree with the movement coming down. Both of these teams are. Connecticut is, of course, the slowest paced team over the last 5 games, over the full season too. But Atlanta's right there with them. Atlanta is the number 2 slowest paced team over the last 5 games as well. So this should be a slow paced game. I'm not interested in taking these super low totals, but if I had to play anything right now, just kind of glancing at the number, I'll probably be looking at Connecticut to score under 81 points. Like I'm not a big believer in their offense right now. Like I said, it's looked really, really bad. I do expect them to be, super tired because it's not just the second leg of a back-to-back, but they're coming off the overtime game as well. So those are my thoughts on the total. And like I said, I did jump on Atlanta. Let's see what you guys are saying here. I know a couple people already said in the chat they like the Connecticut Sun. We're just going to be on the opposite side, which is cool. Let's see. Marquis says Bonner and Thomas relationship is public now. Maybe a distraction now. I'm taking Dream with the points. I don't even think this got anything to do with it, Marquis. It was public last year. But if you want to use that as your motivation, as long as the Dream lose this game by 8 points or less, I'll be content. And I think that they got a chance in this one. I really, really do. Smokey Steam Best says horrible spot for the Sun, deciding on whether I want to trust the Dream. Yeah, that's exactly what you got to do. I played it last night, though. Didn't want to keep going back and forth. I feel like that's where a lot of my losses have been coming from. It's because I go back and forth versus just trusting my instincts. My instincts tell me this is not a good spot for the Connecticut Sun. I'd have mentioned it already, but you played 3 road games. They were on the West Coast. You get one East Coast road game. You come home for one game after an overtime game, and then you got to go right back out to Phoenix. So yeah, I'll take the Atlanta Dream. Nobody gonna like the Dream in this spot, and it makes sense, but I'll take the Dream here. Sincerely says I'm keeping it simple today. Connecticut -8, Mercury -10. Taking both favorites. Okay. Helms, I agree with this. He says, nah, don't buy any points in basketball. Definitely not. Jamie likes the first half under 78. He says the Sun is 7-2 to the under at home. 9-4 is a favorite. Dream 4-2 to the under as a dog. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense if you want to. You think it's going to start slow. I was actually thinking first quarter under, but I got to get away from those first quarter bets. I feel like they've been burning me recently, so I'll probably stay away from the total. But I can see first half going under 78 for sure. Yeah, Atlanta's offense hasn't looked, like I said, they hasn't looked great without Ryan Howard. Makes a lot of sense. Matt says, Sun going back home after the road trip. Sun make a statement coming back home. Minus the 8.5 and over 153.5. So we definitely on the opposite side there, man. I definitely don't see Connecticut offense score, and I don't like the spot enough to lay pretty much double digits with them. Because if you're expecting them to win by 8.5, you're definitely expecting them to win by 10. You don't want to win by 9 and it'd be sweaty. So definitely on the opposite side there. All Praise Pick says he went 5-0 in the Aces versus the Sky game yesterday, a positive 7-6 day in the WNBA parlay. Could have been 9-4 as Magdeburg gets 3 more rebounds. Yeah. Jorge says, do you like the under 153.5? Yeah, I just don't like. I don't really enjoy playing totals this low. Like you really sweating like the whole entire game unless you get like a 13 or 14 point quarter from one of the teams, which is completely capable of happening in this one. Young Man Travel says, I was thinking the same exact thing in terms of feeling like the same spot Dallas was in for Atlanta. I think Jordan Canada East today. Hopefully, it'll be her second game back. I know that the Atlanta Dream did cut Crystal Dangerfield. So hopefully she turns up in this spot. Looking at Connecticut, one of the things that they really struggle with is point guard play. Like Skylar Smith-Diggins, Chelsea Gray. Last night it was Van Loo. Like they really struggled. Melbourne, like they struggle against guards that can get downhill and find their shooters. So hopefully you're right. Jordan Canada, hopefully she knocked the rust off in that last game. Keith says 12-9 first quarter rock fight incoming. That could absolutely happen. I could definitely see that happen. Jerry says last match the score was 69-50 and the Sun win. I like that team total under. Yeah, that team total under makes a lot of sense. Aaron says I took the Mystics +10 yesterday. I'm rocking with the +8 for sure. All right, cool. All right, let's keep going, man. Let's get to the next game. We only got 2. Next game up, we got the Sparks and the Mercury. 10.5 is the spread in favor of the home Mercury team here. And total is up. It opened 164.5. It's up to 166.5 now. And let's jump into this one. So we got a Sparks team. Both of these teams super well rested. 5 days of rest for both teams. For the Sparks, terrible spot when you think. I don't even know if they may have went home, honestly, just because they did have a 5-day layoff, and it don't take that long to get from LA to Phoenix. So they could have potentially went home because they had 5 days of rest after playing the Liberty in back-to-back games. But it is the last game of a 7-game road trip for them. And for the Mercury, 5 days of rest as well. They haven't played since they lost to the Minnesota Lynx in their last game, and they've won 4 of their last 6. They've actually covered, I think, 5 of their last 6 as well. And then for the Sparks, this team, really struggles to score the basketball, to defend at times. Like, they're just a Jekyll and Hyde team. You can see that their offensive rating, defensive rating, and net rating are all second worst in the WNBA over the last 5 games. They have, kept some spreads really close in this 6-game road trip, though. They've covered 4 to 6 games on the road trip. Probably because they've been getting double digits, even though they've lost every single one of them. And then I would be remiss without mentioning the injury report. So the Sparks do have Lexi Brown out. She's struggling with Crohn's disease right now. So hopefully she can get better, sooner rather than later. Lasia Clarendon is also ruled out in this game due to illness, and you got Cameron Brink, of course, who's probably done for the season. Pretty sure Cameron Brink is done for the season. So that's a lot for the Sparks. This team, shout out to Kurt Miller. He dealt with the same thing last year, and it feels like the injury bug's biting them all over again. Whereas the Phoenix Mercury don't have anybody on the injury report. They actually took Suggs Sitton off the injury report, who's missed the last few games. And you get a Mercury team. We've talked about this a lot, but they're Jekyll and Hyde. Not Jekyll and Hyde. They're night and day as far as home versus road. You see that their straight up numbers are 8-8, 10-6 straight up, 10-6 against the number. And at home, this number is not accurate because I must have forgot to update it. They are definitely not 2-6 at the crib. This team is 6-2. So I definitely put that in wrong. I'll go back and change that real quick because accuracy is important. All right, so 6-2 straight up, 6-2 against the number at home. I don't know how I left this backwards. 6-2 straight up at the crib, 6-2 against the spread at home as well. On the road is where you typically don't want to take the Phoenix Mercury, but they are at home right now. They do got a big game coming up. I think it's on Sunday against Caitlin Clark. It'll be the first time that Taurasi and Caitlin Clark have played against each other. But the numbers at the bottom are right. Offensive rating, defensive rating, and net rate. Well, hold on. I think this is wrong too. No, I got that right. Okay. So offensive rating, defensive rating, and net rating, 7, 7, and 8 over the last 5 games. Difficult game, in my opinion, to handicap here. We know one thing about the Phoenix Mercury. They like to shoot a bunch of threes. They like to get up and down the floor, play with a lot of pace. So initially I thought over. It opened at 164.5. Like I said, up to 166.5. Can the Sparks keep up though? I remember when these two teams played earlier this month, back on June the 2nd. I took the Sparks plus the points. That, of course, was before Brittany Griner returned, her and Becca Allen returned. And they could not keep up. The Sparks looked terrible in that game. Their team total today is sitting at, they end up losing that game, I think, by like 20 points. The Sparks team total today is sitting at 77.5. That number feels appropriate to me. Like they did score against the New York Liberty. I think both of those games went up and over the total. It kind of feels like that to me, but it also feels like they could potentially run out of gas and just want to get back home. You got a Phoenix Mercury team total that's really, really high right now. 88.5 is a really big number in my opinion. The Mercury beat the Sparks in the last game 87-68. They beat them by 19 and didn't get to their team total. So that's what really scares me off the over. I think if there's anything I like in this game, it's Mercury early. They're 6-2, not just against the spread at home, but 6-2 in the first half at home as well. So they typically have dominant performances in their home games. On the opposite side, you got a Sparks team. Like I said, last game of a 7-game road trip, probably just can't wait to get back home. They're only 4-6 against the spread in the first half on the road. So I think if I'm playing anything in this one, I know that the number is getting up there. I think it's like 6.5, but that's the way I'd be looking in this one, in my opinion. I think the Spark. I know the Mercury got way more talent. You got Taurasi out there. You got Becca Allen back, like we talked about. Kalia Copper is, definitely playing. She's going to be another All-Star appearance this season as well. And then I don't like Lasia Clarendon being out as well, because to me, Ari McDonald has to play even more. Not to say that she's not good, but this team is lacking a lot of vets, in my opinion. Outside of De'Erica Hamby, I don't know where, they just lack a lot of experience, in my opinion. So yeah, I like the Mercury early. More so, I could see a potential backdoor cover. I do think the Mercury going to be able to shoot the ball well. Sparks 3-point defense is not that great. So yeah, I would look towards Mercury in the first half if I had to play anything here. Let's see what you guys are saying. Where he says he likes the Sparks plus the 10.5. Tina Charles over her 15.5 points in the last game versus Connecticut. Man, that's a tough one, Bruce. Connecticut don't give up a lot of points in the paint. You typically got to beat them from the exterior. Helm says he liked the Mercury minus the 10. Bruce also said he liked the Sun minus the 7.5, so up. So we're definitely not on the same side there. Justin says he moved on the Mercury over 166.5. Yeah, I do feel like the Mercury should be able to score the basketball, man. I really, really do. But 88.5, boy, if you had Seattle team total last night, you sweated that one because I think they were at what, 88.5, and that was against the worst defense. The Sparks defense been better than Indiana, and I mean they barely got to their team total over as well. You started getting up to these 88.5s. We talk about it all the time. The longer the season goes on, the more and more likely, well, the sharper and sharper the books are going to get for sure. So, yeah, it feels appropriate in my opinion. Really not sure what to do with the Sparks, offense, and if I think they're going to be able to contribute. But we'll wish you the best of luck, Justin. Hopefully you cash it. Matt says minus 10 Friday night. Mercury at home, easy money. Okay, and Busy says he likes the Mercury over 87.5. He got that in his pocket as well. Wendell says he's laying the 9 with the Sun. Hell no. Game pace is way too slow for that. And I agree with that as well. You just need Atlanta to score a few points for sure. Sincerely says, I think you're right about the Dream. I'm changing my bet and I'm rolling with the Mercury too. We'll see. We shall see, man. It's difficult games. Jamie, he likes the first quarter Mercury team total over 22.5 here. He says they have averaged 25 in the first quarter in their last 3 home games. Sparks defense has been even more atrocious without Cameron Brink, and that is all facts. The Liberty, I know the Liberty didn't cash that first one against them in the first quarter because we took it and we lost. Can't remember the second one though, because it was back-to-back games versus the Libs. Let's see. Kendrick says he likes Brittany Griner to go over 18.5 points. Real quick, let's look at that. Let's look at a matchup base real quick. Let's see where the Sparks defense struggles the most. All right, so Sparks defense is struggling the most with restricted area makes and attempts. They're actually allowing teams to shoot the second most shots at the rim and make the third most shots at the rim. Even though their restricted area field goal percentage is the 4th best, they're still allowing teams to shoot about 61%. The Mercury are shooting 70% in the restricted area, so they're 4th best as well. This offense is really humming right now. Where else do they struggle? They struggle in the mid-range, actually allowing the Sparks allow the most mid-range makes, almost 7.5 per game, and the Phoenix Mercury make the 2nd most mid-range shot attempts. So to me, that screams Diana Taurasi, maybe some Natasha Cloud. Silk Sutton is a pretty good mid-range shooter. Kalia Copper, she can shoot mid-range, even though she shoots a lot more threes. And they give up the left corner 3 as well, which teams don't really shoot a lot of threes in the corner in the WNBA for whatever reason. But I couldn't talk you up Brittany Griner to go over her points prop, 18.5. Let's see. Bruce says he likes the under 166.5. If you like that, I'm pretty sure you like a team total to go under as well. Taurasi over her 3.5 assists. I can see that. He says Taurasi has hit this line in 5 straight games. BG been back 6 games. Okay. Finally got a Suns game over. Today, I think they covered at 8.5. So opposite side. A lot of people like the Sun today. I'm on the opposite side of feels like everybody, but that's cool. Bump says I like the Mercury first half at 6. On DraftKings, it's hard to lay double-digit spreads on any WNBA team, and I feel right there. I wish we had more competitive games. I feel like I do better in competitive games versus yesterday we had 4 double-digit spreads, and I got smoked in all of them. I did say I like the Aces, but didn't get on the number early enough. Did say I like the Washington Mystics, ended up not playing the +10. So I would have got a couple of them right. Oh, I also said I like the Storm too, but I didn't play them either because I don't like big spreads. Like they a backdoor cover is something that haunts me. It gives me nightmares. Usmanzo says he likes the under in the Sparks game. What up, Big Smokey? Says, Morning King, let's cash. I'm back. Yeah, I might even try to find a player prop or something because I don't feel too strong about the card today. Bruce says under 165 is the play. I understand the pace, but last few games went under 155 before the injuries. Okay. Taking the plus 8.5 with the dream. Me too. CS says appreciate the time and effort you put in, boss. Hope you and everyone in the chat have a blessed Friday and a weekend. Let's cash. Appreciate that $5 dono. CS. Helm says back when the Mercury didn't have Grana and the Sparks had their best defender. Yeah, you make a lot of sense, huh? You definitely make a lot of sense here. It's definitely changed a little bit. What about the under in the Sun game? I think the total is, if you wanted the under on a super low total. So in my opinion, super low totals are anything below like 156. If you want a super low total in the WNBA, you want to take it when it open. You don't want to be sweating in the fourth quarter. So total's already dropped 2 points down to 151. I don't want it. I would take Connecticut team total under 80.5 before I bet anything else. Like I said, both of those teams playing at the slowest pace and the second slowest pace in the WNBA. Connecticut offense does not scare me right now. Like, not at all. Bruce says he's betting the Aces minus the 10.5. I'm thinking about going to DC and pulling up to this game. I've got the tab open looking at tickets since last night. I like the over in that game. I think it's open 169.5. It's up to 170.5. Aces do play the Mystics tomorrow. Didn't bet the game yet, but I'm probably going to get there. Helm says the double-digit spreads went 2-2. Not hard to lay double digits, just got to find the right spots. Yeah, that also means you ain't win no money, though, Helm. 2-2 ain't a winning night. Jalen says Suns are in a bad spot, especially being the overtime game last night. I said that as well. Bruce says, do you have a Discord? Nope, no Discord. I probably never have a Discord. That's too much for me to manage, man. I don't want a Discord. Mark says, good afternoon, Chris and crew. No donations, Bruce. Don't worry about donation. Keep it, bro. Keep it. Appreciate you, though. Cecily says, if you could find Copper assists under is the play. Okay. Aaron says Mercury money line first quarter and halftime. What you think? Yeah, they should. I think first quarter, first half is a good look for sure. Young man Travel says BG should feast mighty in the paint today. I mean, she just gonna have. Well, they do got what's her name? Yuthra, the Chinese girl. She's not terrible. Yeah, De'Arica Hamby should get smoked though. I don't think De'Arica Hamby is a solid defender at all. Helm says Aces over 90.5 team total if you can get it on Saturday. Yeah, that's gonna be a shootout, fast-paced game for sure. You just hope that the Mystics 3-point shooting continue to hit. And I saw Ariel Atkins go down last night. She did come back, but man, they dropping like flies over there in DC. That's scary too. In DC. Okay. That's what's up. Bruce says he can appreciate the consistency. I have my own sports betting community. Not easy. Yeah, that's for sure. Consistency is what you got to be, though. It hurts to come on here sometimes and go after an 0-3 night and, cap the card the same night, wake up in the morning, finish capping the card, and then, do a show super early in the morning. But it's what you got to do, man. It's long-term sports betting. Win it all in one night. All right. I think we did a pretty good job. Yeah, that's a good point, yo. That's a good point. Jamie says Sun Mercury first quarter money line is plus 114 on DraftKings. Might be a look. So just taking the two favorites today to win the first quarter. That should happen. Unless the Sun come out super sleepy. We've seen the Sun really struggle early in games. It ain't like the Dream play well, but the Sun was down 10 points, 5 points at halftime yesterday against the Mystics. Like they have been, not the best first quarter, first half team at all. So yeah, play that with some discretion, but it should get there. I mean, it's not like they're playing the world beaters on the opposite side. So yeah, I don't think I could disagree with you there. All right, so quick recap, man. I already said, and this should be in green because I did play. I just forgot to change the color. I did play Atlanta. I know it sounds like I'm on an island, which is fine. Like I said, this is more of a spot play for me. I wish I had played the spot play that I liked yesterday because that spot play was was a winner. Spot play was Minnesota. I mean, I'm sorry, it was Dallas. So yeah, I'll take the plus 8.5 with Atlanta, and I like Phoenix first half minus the 6.5. It wouldn't surprise me if they're winning by double digits at halftime against the the LA Sparks on the last game of that 7-game road trip. So those are the two that I like. Like I said, I'll probably stay off the totals, but Atlanta and Connecticut, I would go Connecticut team total under 80.5 if I had to bet it. And then Phoenix and the Sparks, I think I'll go under, man. I really, really do. I know that the Mercury's offense has been really, really good. I'm hesitant to think that the Sparks going to be able to keep up scoring, especially without Laser Clarendon, especially without, Lexi Brown. Got to remember that Mercury defense really struggles at the 3-point line. I don't know if the Sparks got enough 3-point shooters without Lexi Brown and the playmaking of Laser Clarendon. So I do kind of lean towards the under a little bit more than the over, but I'm staying off of that one because I can see it ticking up and over as well. So I'll stay off of that. But yeah, like I said, I'm on the Dream plus the 8.5, man. Best of luck to you guys. We'll be back tomorrow to do this all over again. We got a pretty real quick. We got 2 games tomorrow, and then we got 3 games on Sunday. So yeah, jump on the lines early if it's something that you guys like. I'm gonna go through the card today, definitely early, and let you guys know what I'm looking at as well. Probably wait for the injury report to come out for tomorrow's games, but I'll go through them today, see if we can get back on track with some early looks for Saturday and Sunday. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Resources that I use are here. Definitely check out themoneyballer.com if you guys have not. Talk about them every single day on the show, but it's a really great resource. And always want to shout out OddsJam as well. Get 25% off your first month using code CBC. The link for that is in the description. If you guys are interested in joining OddsJam and all of the great sports betting software that they have over there. And also link for my official plays in the description as well if you guys are interested. If you're still watching, you enjoyed the show, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Enjoy your Friday, and I will catch you guys again tomorrow. Be good. I'm out.